Welcome back to Undiagnosed Baddie, your favorite daily 10-minute podcast, hosted by me, your girl, BellaThaGawd. Let's go ahead and get straight into it. I want to talk about blended families, but the non traditional blended families. And what do I mean by that? I'm talking about when we adopt and foster. Okay, so believe it or not, guys, believe it or not, this is rubbing up against the wall. I did want more than one kid at one point in my life. It's just that, baby, you don't have to teach me a lesson more than once. Okay, let's just leave that right there. But I wanted to talk about adopting because there's so many stories where people get adopted and then they want to go and look for their birth family, not for medical reasons, but just because I want to see what my people look like. I have questions about why my mother left me or why my father gave me up for adoption. And oftentimes in these cases, it's not a good ending. It's not a good ending. Even when we talk about non-traditional families coming together in the way of doing all this ancestry DNA test, stuff like that, I'm almost weary about that as well. But let's go ahead and start with what I was talking about at first. We're talking about adoption now. In my heart of hearts, I don't want to say I never wanted to adopt. I'll say I don't like the fact when people reach out to their old families because I get you at whatever age I get you from birth, from toddler, from youngin'. And I bring you into my home and I treat you as if you were my own and you are my child. And you get everything that my biological child gets and you get all of the love and you don't get treated any different. And then you turn around and you be like, yeah, you're not my mom. Now, granted, I'm not. But I'll never allow anybody to say that to me. So I never fully wanted to adopt. That's the main reason. There's nothing else behind it. You'll never be able to slap me in my face with words and say, but you're not my mom. When I did all of the motherly things in that capacity, adopted you as my child. Like when everything was good, it was good. But because you're having this revelation or whatever, now if you feel that way, cool, fine. But to open your mouth and say that to me, baby, yeah, nah, you're not gonna ever be able to get a chance to disrespect me that way. Now, fostering is a little bit different. Fostering, can be temporary. It could be long term. You love those kids like nieces and nephews, right? Your own child. And I am one person that believes in once you bring the kids into the house, they are treated as they are your own. They are the family. Nobody's treated any different. I did have y'all a great aunt, ooh, spilling the family tea, that would treat her foster children totally different than how she would treat her grandchildren that lived in the house with her and her nieces and nephews, us, than how she treated the foster children. Like they had to ask to go into the refrigerator. We didn't have to ask for anything besides like food that was getting cooked. And this is when we were younger, but she did this her entire career it was a career for her. That's how she made money. Now I do have other people in my family that fostered children. I had one wind up adopting, like two of her boys, and they didn't treat anybody different. You only got treated different behaviorally or like education wise, right? And I say that so if one child is always acting out for whatever reason, you don't get to get popsicles with everybody else. And that's what I mean by like behaviorally. But it wasn't that anybody was ever singled out with this other family member. And I love her for that. I love that she didn't treat her kids any different. I love that she wound up adopting her boys. I love that for us because those are my cousins to this fucking day. You can't tell, nobody will be able to tell me that that's not my fucking cousin because we were raised as family. Now, going back to this other family member, I hated the way that she used to treat those kids. I hated going to her house once I realized that they got treated different. And I was like, well, why are they getting treated different? And everybody, shh, don't say no. And that's one of the problems in black families is that people love to sweep shit under the rug to coexist and for peace. And it's just like, nah, somebody need to motherfucking lift the rug up and shake that motherfucker out and expose what the fuck is going on. Sweep that shit up and throw it away because why the fuck would you do that? Like, that's just crazy to me. You don't treat children any different. Like, if I meet somebody and they have kids, their kids are getting treated the same as mine. I don't expect, if I ask for your kids, you don't have to send money, but we do, right? If I ask for, sometimes we do. Sometimes it's known that, babe, don't send no fucking money over here. Now there is a difference, though. There is a difference. Like if I have my one and you got two, cool. If I have one and you got three and four, baby, you gotta send, like, that's a lot. That's a lot extra, especially if we're doing something like going to an amusement park or anything that costs a lot of money. Going out to eat, I could feed the kids. That's not an issue. Coming to the house, they're good. They're good. But once it starts getting, tickets is $80 and plus, and you got four on my one, baby. I need a little bit of coin. Like pockets ain't pocketing like that yet. But if you like, share, and subscribe, comment, and boost me onto the algorithm, I may be able to do, you know what I'm saying, the things that the drug dealers used to do for the kids in the community, and buy stuff out, and it just be a fun day, and kids remember stuff like that. But I did want to get back to talking about the separation. It's like, when you bring someone into your family, this is even with your friends. Your friends are not supposed to be treated, them long-term friends that become sister cousins are not supposed to be treated any different than like your cousin. That's my dog right here. Like, this is the bond I built. This is the tribe that I built. These are the people that love me a particular way, that understand me, that are on the same flight path as me to whatever it is that they want to do. Everybody doesn't want to do social media. Everybody doesn't want to be in an entertainment business. Everybody doesn't want to do all of these things. But they support me in what I do, because in turn I support them in their craft and the things that they love to do. I think it's truly, truly important. And going back, time out on the play, because I'm just remembering a particular incident with this great aunt and treating the kids different. And like I said, I thought it was so unfair for us to be able to go get a snack, get a fruit, get this or that, and they have to ask. And if she didn't feel like her, or she was in a bad mood, she'd be like, no, you can't have that. And it was clearly a difference. Like, let's take us out of it. The grandkids that she had there were this is when I was a child, because I eventually stopped going. I was able to, like, when I was younger, I got sent to Connecticut a lot, like in the summertime. That's where my family and stuff was. And then we traveled throughout the months. The summer months, we traveled to like New York and North Carolina and Georgia to visit all the other family that was like further down south or whatever. But I definitely remember like her grandkids being able to access stuff, and she telling them kids, don't touch my motherfucking snacks. You had one yesterday. And I'm just like, wow, I don't understand that. Because if we're all here, we're all eating chips, why the fuck can't this kid have? And it wasn't about they had gotten in trouble. It was, you're not one of us. And I was like, what is the purpose of being a foster parent if you are not going to love these children and give them the same opportunities? And as far as I can remember, and if y'all nosy and y'all watching this and I'm wrong, correct me in my comments, none of her foster kids came back to love on her the way that some of my other family members, foster kids, love on them till this day. Yep. And I know that to be a fact, so nobody's gonna correct me in my motherfucking comments, because that's just how that is. But you know, it always be the wild ones in behavior and character and moral that have that put a nasty taste in your mouth, that wind up living the longest. Yeah. So, like I said, don't foster children if you're not going to treat them the same way you're going to treat everybody else in your family. And don't adopt children if you are ever going to be offended. Like I would be offended if they ever said, I want to go find my biological family because I don't want to do this anymore. And yeah, I'm not built for that. So I know not to even put myself in that situation. Y'all, we got some good episodes coming up. I hope you're enjoying everything that I'm putting out. This is Undiagnosed Baddie, y'all.